I want to go write a music that announces to you that you can feel something. I don't want to tell you what to feel, but I just want you to have a possibility of feeling something. A good score should have a point of view all of its own. It should transcend all that has gone before, stand on its own 2 feet, and still serve the movie. A great soundtrack is all about communicating with the audience, but all we try to bring something extra to the movie, and that is not entirely evident on screen. If I play you a piece of music, that's when you can truly look inside me. As the seconds of our lives are ticking away, you have to realize that life needs to be an adventure. If you talk to any director, they'll say music is 50% of the movie. You're going to fail a few times, but that's the only time you actually learn something. I've spent my life trying to make things simpler because I find ultimately that complicated doesn't reach the heart. Never let your wife prevent you from buying equipment. A car will not buy a synthesizer, but a synthesizer can buy a car. Why get up in the morning unless you're going to have an adventure? I think one of the things which always is forgotten in music class is the first thing you have to do as a musician is to have to learn how to listen. The rules are the more playful we get, the more we can get rid of the rules. There's a power that movie and music has that can move you and motivate you to look at your neighbor in a slightly more respectful way and look at cultures in more inclusive ways. I've never had a real job in my life. I didn't learn anything. I was terrible at school. It was just this thing. Music was all I wanted to do. Inspired music arises from an inspired movie, which arises from an inspired script. If something happened where I couldn't write music anymore, it would kill me. It's not just a job, it's not just a hobby, it's why I get up in the morning. You always hear stories of how Hollywood is so merciless on composers and how they all get beaten up. Nobody beats me up as much as I beat myself up. This is what I love doing, and I have one life to do it in, and I better do it right. I better do it well. What are you going to do when you are not saving the world? Anything can become a musical sound. The wind on telegraph wires is a great sound. Get it into your machine and play it, and it become interesting. All music is based in one way or the other, or influenced through the ages on technology. You can only make a good noise on the guitar if you are committed. Little careful noise doesn't work. You have to be bold. Having the great opportunity on a daily basis to sit in front of a blank page is terrifying and at the same time really exciting. I can't actually get better at my job because every time you finish something, you start with a blank page with nothing. You have to remain flexible and you must be your own critic at all times. I love this idea of always being a foreigner. There's this thing where people bring cultures, bring the music together. I love it when the culture collide and something sort of new comes out of it. I get all my good ideas sort of at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I tried for a while to behave like normal people. Electronic music lends itself to an abstract way of storytelling, so it keeps evolving. There's a whole movement really driving music further, and there's no other music innovating as much as film music. The first thing I think about is music, and the last thing I think about is music. I'm like some monk. I don't see a lot of daylight. I hang out with musicians, I hang out with directors, And I just try to spend as much of my life as possible playing music. Trust me, if you're working on a $70 million movie and you're the last guy, you feel all the weight on your shoulder. The main thing the composer needs to do is it needs to remember that the director is there to cheer you on. The director wants you to succeed because if you succeed, you'll be helping the film, and they are truly your conscience, and they are truly your guide. I've spent my life trying to make things simpler. Hollywood allows you to go and express yourself.